I don't have my timer on. Make sure you're prepared before you start filming. It helps a little bit. All right, let's do this. Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video. Today I'm doing a video that I have really wanted to do for a little while, and I think it's one that a lot of you guys will find helpful. Today I want to talk to you guys about buying eBay wigs. So as a lot of you guys probably know, it's not much of a surprise, one regular kind of video that I do on this channel is wig reviews, wherein I review various lace front wigs. And the thing about lace fronts is that they're always going to be more expensive than other types of wigs. So I want to do a video that focuses on wigs that aren't super expensive and aren't super specialized like lace fronts, because I know a lot of you, just like me, are obviously on a budget. So today I want to take your guys' hands, not in a creepy way, in a like, let me show you the world of eBay wigs kind of way, and basically give you guys some information on how to buy cheaper quality wigs off of eBay. This is where I've gotten the vast majority of my wigs. It's only been in the last year that I've actually been buying like more expensive wigs from Arda. Arda wigs, if you are able to buy from them, are fantastic, and I'm gonna do a video on like different kind of like price range wigs in the future. For this video, obviously we're just gonna be talking about eBay wigs. Anyway, it's only been kind of a year that I've been kind of turned on to Arda, but all of the wigs before that, every single one that I have was purchased off of eBay. So I have a lot of experience with it, and I kind of know the limitations of that particular price point. So I'm just basically gonna kind of walk you guys through it and give you guys a couple of suggestions for sellers that I in particular like to go to when I'm looking for eBay wigs. That was a lot of kind of like word vomit. I hope all of that made sense. Basically, we're gonna be talking about cheaper wigs because, you know, all of us are starving artists and we can't all buy Arda wigs for every single one of our projects. We can't all buy like $70 lace fronts for all of our projects, which is totally understandable. So for all of you who like to eat and cosplay, this is the video for you. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a video in the future where I talk about all the different kind of price points of wigs, but like I said before, today we're going to be talking about eBay wigs. So eBay wigs, the way that I like to see it, they're kind of like one step up from your Halloween store wig, and it's a massive step up. If you can, you always want to have your baseline kind of be eBay wigs. Most of the wigs that I've bought are from eBay within kind of like the $17 to $25 range. So if you want to see what that looks like, this is an eBay wig, 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 this as well, this one too, and this one that I'm wearing right now is also an eBay wig. So it is possible to get wigs that will look good in photos that won't necessarily break the bank. Obviously, if you can go for a kind of more expensive retailer, like I've said, Arda wigs or any kind of like the lace front wig companies that I've talked about in other reviews, obviously those are going to have a lot of like advantages over eBay wigs, which again, that's kind of a video topic for another time. But obviously, you know, if you aren't able to afford that, it's totally not the end of the world if all you can afford is eBay wigs. You can do a lot with eBay wigs, and it's nothing to be like ashamed of if you can only buy from eBay. eBay wigs can do a good job. So that's kind of my words of encouragement. Don't worry about it. They definitely do have their limitations, which I'll get into, but they are totally workable, and you can have a good looking cosplay with an eBay wig. So don't worry about it. Follow your dreams. Be able to eat food so you don't go broke, or don't go broke so you can eat food. Anyway, eBay wigs can look good in photos. That's the point that I'm trying to make, but you had to have a little song and dance with it. So the first things I kind of want to talk about is what features you can expect within an eBay wig. So the eBay wig price point is around like $17 to $25. They can go more expensive depending on how long they are and whether or not they're a lace front. But if you're kind of looking for like a short to mid-length wig, they're going to run for about $17 to $25. What you have to know about eBay wigs is basically kind of like the limitations of buying within that price range. So eBay wigs, they're much better than a Halloween store wig. You never want to go for Halloween store wigs. I talked about that in my beginner cosplay tip video. They're gonna be miles better than a Halloween wig. But when you're kind of comparing them to like the Ardas of the world versus eBay wigs, these are a few things to keep in mind. So for the most part, they're going to be thinner. They're not going to look terrible in photos, obviously, but if you are doing kind of more advanced styling techniques, you're not going to have as much hair or as many fibers to work with. For the most part, eBay wigs are much harder to style and aren't as versatile as kind of more specialized wigs. More specialized wigs are like meant to be spiked, they're meant to have like crazy stuff done to them, whereas eBay wigs kind of not so much. It's not like impossible, but it's going to be a bit more of a challenge. So if it's a style like this, you know, if you're just going to wear the wig like this, you know, as it is, it's going to work totally fine. They are going to be shinier for the most part. Some eBay wigs are shinier than others. I've had wigs totally not super shiny, like it looks good in most lighting lighting situations, but there are some eBay wigs that are just going to be like on the shinier side again compared to the next price tier. So they're going to look really good in natural sunlight, but when you get to kind of like flash photography or studio lighting like I have right now, that's where you might find some limitations, like they might not hold up as well and like that shine will be more obvious. Again, it's not the end of the world. It's not gonna like keep you from being able to get good cosplay photos. It's just kind of important to know that you might be limited in those ways when it comes to buying eBay wigs. The other thing is the expectation versus reality. So when you're buying from a seller like Arda Wigs, there are people screaming downstairs, what's going on? When you're buying from somewhere like Arda, what you see is always gonna be what you get. Whereas with eBay, I haven't had really any like super bad experiences with eBay. Like all the wigs that I've bought have been either exactly as they were advertised or close enough that it wasn't a huge deal. But there have been 1 or 2 times when like the wig was quite different from how it had been advertised. So when it comes to eBay, what you see isn't necessarily what you get. And sometimes it will be exactly like the picture and sometimes there will be like a slight difference. That's not necessarily a deal breaker, but maybe isn't exactly what you expected. And then there's kind of like those 1 or 2 instances where what you get like is completely different from what you thought you would get. Those are just kind of some things to consider. Again, it's not a deal breaker. Like I've said, most of my wigs have come from eBay and I've been very happy with what I've received. But it is just important to kind of know those limitations and know that like the biggest thing that I would probably say is that like if I have a wig from eBay, I have to be just really conscientious of which lighting situations I'm going to be in versus if I have something like an Arda or like a fancy lace front. Certain cosplays just won't be able to be shot with like flash or studio lighting, which is fine because like most cosplay photography takes place outside, so it's not a huge thing to worry about. But like if you are in a situation where you have an eBay wig, it might be a bit on the shinier side under certain lighting conditions, you might have to rethink how you're gonna get those shot. Like I've said, you can totally make an eBay wig work if that's what you're able to purchase. Like that is totally fine, that's totally valid, and it's nothing to worry about. I'm putting this information out there just so that you know what to expect when you're buying that particular wig. So now we're gonna talk about how to go about buying eBay wigs. The biggest tips that I give is, first of all, you want to make sure that you don't buy anything cheaper than $17. That's kind of my rule of thumb. Like I've said before, kind of like the $17 to $25 range is a good one to aim for. If you go for like a $10 wig or $12 wig, it's gonna get like really dicey. Like I have bought a $12 wig before and it ended up being great, but it's more common to, you know, spend $12 on a wig and it's like absolute unworkable garbage. So you want to make sure that like the absolute least amount of money you're spending on the wig is $17. That is kind of like the absolute baseline. Also, when it comes to buying eBay wigs, you can almost always expect free shipping. So when I'm saying like $17 to $25, that is like with shipping. So either it'll be free shipping or it might be like $2 shipping or whatever. Overall, for like the wig itself, you want to stay within your $17 to $25 range, because I have had friends who have bought like cheaper wigs and it's been like terrible, and they were much better off taking that money and putting it towards a more expensive wig. When it comes to purchasing from certain sellers, the first thing you want to look at is their buyer score. So when you go to the eBay page, there's going to be a little thingy in the corner next to the seller's name, and it's going to have a percentage next to it, and you want that to at least be somewhere in like the 90s. I recommend sticking to sellers that have between 95 to 100%, because then you know that they are selling things that are like honest to what they are advertising. The next thing that I recommend doing is checking their reviews. Oftentimes, if they do have that high of a percentage, you know, within 95 to 100% satisfaction rating, they'll have like maybe 7 negative reviews, but then hundreds of like really good reviews, and then like maybe a few kind of so-so reviews. You can check all of that out on their page. And I just kind of like giving a quick glance to negative reviews to see what people are upset about, because usually they're just really petty reasons. But sometimes there will be people who do give ratings who are like, oh, this is a negative rating because the wig was not accurate to the picture. So it's important to know that. But even if they do have a few negative ratings, those are very kind of rare scenarios. And if they have like way more positive reviews than negative reviews, you can trust the seller. But I like to kind of just like, as an extra precaution, see what people are complaining about and see if they are just petty things or if there are particular like issues with that seller. Fan break, it's Totoro on it. We have people visiting from Japan, they just gave me this. It has like a little Totoro on it because I love Totoro. So blessed. The other thing that you want to look at when you're buying from a new seller is you want to make sure that they specialize in cosplay items and or like fashion. Basically, you want it to be like relevant to selling wigs. So I like to stick to sellers who exclusively sell like wigs, clothing, and cosplay items. Sometimes you'll have sellers who sell like jewelry, furniture, really random stuff as well as wigs, and I like to stay away from those sellers just because you don't have as much of a guarantee. It's not necessarily going to be as good just because their inventory isn't as like specific. So I've just had the best luck with just sticking to retailers that exclusively sell wigs because they're focusing on that kind of product, so you know that it's going to be better quality, if that makes sense, since that's kind of what they're specializing in, rather than just kind of like selling random stuff and like hoping that it works, I guess. All of that being said, my last point for this video is to tell you guys a couple of sellers that I trust. I was originally going to have more sellers, but in the time that I've been buying eBay wigs, some of these sellers just don't exist anymore, which is, you know, great. But I do have 2 wig sellers who are kind of my go-to for buying wigs. The first one is called FF Wig 2013, and that's where I bought probably the majority of my cosplay wigs. Like, that's where I bought this one. That's where I got like my Sam Manson wig for Danny Phantom, which is the same wig as this one. It's where I bought my Magical Boy wig. It's where I bought my Go Go Tamago wig. I also bought my Vivi wig from Mystery Skulls from that seller. I've bought so much stuff from them. I can't even remember all the stuff that I've bought. This is a seller that I've had really good experience with. Their prices are very fair for what you get. They all have like good price ranges. The wigs are as advertised. You don't get anything like that's totally off from the picture. And their shipping time is really good. Their stuff usually arrives within like 2 weeks or so. So I've had like really good experiences with them. So they're kind of like my go-to whenever I'm looking for an eBay wig. And then the second place that I really like to go to is called JCPunk. Their stuff can be a little bit more expensive, but their wigs, again, are really good. So that's where I got like the base wig for my Black Cat Diva. It was originally a really long wig, and then I just like styled into the pigtails. It looks really good under multiple lighting situations, so I was really happy with that. It's where I got my Dawn wig from Pokemon. It's where I got my Keto wig from Durarara. It's where I got my Kenma wig from Haikyuu. Like, I've gotten a lot of wigs from them and I've been very happy. They're a really good place for kind of like generic styles. So if you're looking for like a long wig with bangs or like a short wig in various colors, they're very good. In my experience, the fibers of their wigs have been really good. They haven't been super shiny, which I've really liked. If you guys want to check out those particular sellers, I will have them linked down below. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. Like I said, like most of my wig money has gone to those sellers. So like, I'm just kind of plugging them because they are sellers that I've actually bought from and genuinely trust. So that's really all I have to say on this kind of like little crash course into buying wigs off of eBay. I really hope you guys find this helpful. And if there are any future kind of related topics to this that you guys would like to see and like what would be helpful for me to talk about, please let me know. And if you guys have any eBay sellers that you also like to buy from, please let me know as well in the comments. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And again, I really hope that you guys found this helpful. I will see you guys all next time. But until then, pan faces, please be sure to take care. Bye.